Hello, welcome to 15 Minutes of Consulting Best Practices. My name is Maria Isabel Rios, and I'm joined by David A. Fields. Hello, David.
Good morning, Maria Isabel. How are you this morning?
Doing okay. How are you?
Outstanding. It's October. So is this our first one in October? I think it is.
Yes, it is.
There we go.
And happy birthday to my brother.
Happy birthday to Maria Isabel's brother. Okay.
All right. So welcome to the space. It's a space where we answer your questions about how to manage, how to grow, and how to create the light within your consulting firms. Those of you who have been with us quite a bit know this, but for all of you who are new, you're welcome to put comments, to ask questions. Hello, Philip. Thank you for letting us know you're here. We very much appreciate it. It takes us a minute to see what you post in the comments, so don't be shy. And also, don't be shy about including your point of view, your experiences as we're discussing topic. It can only enriches what comes out of this space. What do you think, David?
Absolutely. And I know that we had some left over from last week, and a couple of folks emailed questions in. So maybe we start right there, and then as you all have questions, just post them in the comments. So Deidre, what do we have in your magic bag of questions?
All right, I want to put you on the spot, David.
Okay.
So how would value-based pricing work for longer time to value or more nebulous value projects? I see how it works, especially for more technical or operational consulting where the benefits can be realized pretty quickly and are more concrete. It's very hard to evaluate the risk-adjusted ROI for doing the high-quality thinking strategy planning upfront. Thank you, Fintlay. What do you think, David?
Yeah, and this is one that had been emailed in, so I had seen this. Which is a great question, right? This comes up all the time. It can feel, if you're working on softer stuff, if you're working on strategic stuff, if you're working on leadership or culture or things that aren't directly connected to sales or saving money, then there's a sense that, well, how can I quantify what I do and assign an ROI? And so I have a few thoughts on this, and then Maria Isabel, you chime in also. The first thought is, well, I'm going to tell you how to get to that value, but also keep in mind that the soft value behind a project, the personal wins for the decision maker, are more important than the hard value. The soft value is actually what allows you to close the project. The hard value allows your decision maker to justify the project and to justify your fees, right? Because it's the rational stuff as opposed to the emotional stuff. So if you're struggling with quantifying value, continue to work on it and also focus on soft value. So that's point one. Soft value is more important. Point number two, you can actually get the hard value of anything. What it requires is some probing and asking why, or so what, or why does that matter? What's the actual benefit? So, for example, if Maria Isabel, you were my client, and I asked you what the benefit is of let's just say it's a soft, like the leadership team isn't working well together. Right? Like, how do you quantify that? Right? So I would say, well, Maria Isabel, what does it matter if the leadership team works well together?
And so in this example, say I tell you, well, it's not our culture, and it creates an unpleasant environment for folks to come in.
Yeah.
Got it. That's where.
So understand that. So you want a more pleasant environment for your folks to come in. Why? I mean, honestly, I understand that it'd be nice, but from a business standpoint, who cares? What does it matter?
Right.
And I'll just keep pushing like that, and you can keep pushing like that, saying, but what does it matter? What's the real difference? Until they get to a point where if they say, well, we won't be able to attract talent, or take us 3 times as long to attract talent. Oh, well, now that's quantifiable because we know there's a cost associated with it. Or we're not getting the best talent. Well, okay, so what does that matter? Well, if we don't get the best talent, our stuff will be late. Oh, stuff being late, that you can quantify. Okay, right. So you can always push to that. And then the final thing I would say, because you said, how do you value this kind of upfront thinking? you value it at usually 20 to 30% of the total value of them achieving their goals. 20 to 30% is the upfront strategy. What should we do? Another 20 to 30% is building the plan. How do we get there? And then 50-ish% is execution, is implementation. So it's sort of rough way of thoughts. All right, so that was a probably too much. So Marie-Isabel, what do you think?
I completely agree. And I think it's important, Suzanne, you made a comment, and hi, Carol, hi, John, and hi, John, and hi, Suzanne, right? You made a comment about how would that attrition track down. Part of what David just demonstrated is ideally you want to have a conversation in which the client highlights all the things you're stating and that right? Or say, look, typically when attrition hits, we see, cost of replacing people goes up, loss of productivity goes up. Do you see that as well? Are you seeing that? So either the person brings it up very specifically, or you can probe in conversation, but there's a way to land it.
Yeah, exactly right. I think, Suzanne, you're right. I mean, those you would be able to get from this vague culture, leadership team isn't working together. In this particular example, you get to, well, you've got attrition and lost productivity. Oh, okay, productivity. What is your productivity now? What do you think it go up to if you were working well together? And what impact is that on the bottom line? And suddenly you're talking bottom line numbers. There's always a way to connect it. It does take some persistence, and you have to be brave in saying, so what? Honestly, who cares? So you want to fix it. What if you don't fix it? What does it matter?
Right.
If you ask that, you will get yourself to the what's more important than you getting yourself to the numbers is your client crystallizes in their own mind, oh, this is really important. Here's why I'm doing it. And if it's vague, they don't have that rationale quite there. So, all right. Hopefully that made sense. But if you have follow-on questions, type them in the comments and ask Marie-Isabel and me. And now, Marie-Isabel, I'm going to put you on the spot. So, because we haven't heard a question yet from the folks who are coming out live. So, Deidre, I think we had another question maybe from last week or email. Okay, John.
Yeah, and John is right here.
There we go. John, here's your question. I've been serving a client as a subcontractor for 2 years. Now I've been released to contract directly with the client. I want to explore opportunities beyond my current engagement, which is paid hourly. What is the best way to approach my client and move up the ladder, so to speak? And John, if we didn't capture your question well, just let us know. Okay. And great, Finley, excellent. Glad that helped. So what do you think, Marie-Isabel? He's been subcontracting. Now he can work directly. He's been doing hourly work. How does he move up?
So John, first, congratulations, right? You've been working for 2 years and you managed two things. One, to have a happy enough client that they have wanted you for 2 years or more. And two, to generate a space where you can now work directly, which requires thinking ahead of time in both cases, right? So one approach to this is create a setting where you're allowed or in a conversation about their 2025 needs that the client has, which is a more strategic question than a continuation of the project you're currently doing or the role you're currently doing. In getting there, be transparent. Say, look, I've been working with you for 2 years under the banner of XYZ Consulting. Now we can work directly. And are you open to having a meeting where I share my observations, your observations, John, of what the client needs, what's the situation of your client, and where are their opportunities? And if you have available their 2025 strategy or their 2025 thinking, where you compare and contrast to that, and that's your ask, right? Now we can talk about it in a different format. I would like to bring what I have identified as opportunities or next steps and things that I want to flag for you let's have a conversation around that. And basically, you create a platform to talk about the end of 2024, the beginning of 2025 in a different setting. What do you think, David? And I know, John, you put a comment in.
Yeah, and so I see, John, you're adding that they know you in one context, not necessarily as an an advisory context. So agree with you, Maria Isabel. This is what we would commonly call an opportunity assessment. And we recommend to our clients that they run opportunity assessments. And so, John, if you've been there for 2 years, presumably you have noticed things about the client. You've noticed opportunities for them to improve. And if you have, that's where you can step up and show yourself in a different light. Exactly as Maria Isabel said. Can we have a meeting and I'll share some of these observations. Now, what you could do is sort of addressing your question here about, they know me in one context. As you can say, as part of this opportunity assessment, can I also give you a bit of a capabilities presentation? Because you only know me in this narrow context. And in fact, that's unusual for me. I more often help clients in a different way. And as long as you can get that meeting and you focus the meeting primarily on them and what you've observed, and you tack on your capabilities presentation, you should be well positioned. Yay? Nay? What do you think, Maria Isabel?
I am with you.
All right.
I think John already has 3 out of the 6 pillars for success, and now he needs to align around the other 3.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. If that brings up any other questions for you while you're listening, throw them in the chat, and we'll get to them. Otherwise, Deidre. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Maria Isabel. You can go back.
I think Suzanne had a follow-up question.
Oh, was there? I missed it.
Yeah, I think so.
How do you correlate the project cost to what the client thinks they can afford now versus a prospect of increased awareness? Maria Isabel, will you translate for me?
Sana, are you asking the increased awareness from the perspective of the client of the value of the project? And does it tie into the initial question? Or are you asking awareness of about the client's needs? I'm not sure what the question behind.
Yeah, maybe you can clarify. And it sounds like you're talking about project fees, right? When you say project costs, not your internal costs, you're talking about fees.
How to quantify my rate as correlates to marketing top funnel?
How to quantify my rate? Well, let's get away from word rate, because you're not going to charge rates. Hopefully, right? You have a fee for the project. Marketing, top of funnel awareness deliverables, knowing that the client needs marketing to rebuild the brand.
Okay, so you want to tie the value to what the client needs.
Okay, so if you have, whether you've quantified or not quantified, this gets into a whole different topic, which is pricing. Hi, Frank. Whether you've quantified it or not, the quantification helps. It's one stake in the sand to build your pricing. So pricing is built around, your fees are built around a lot of stakes in the sand. One of them is the value. It's not the only one, but it's one because you ideally want to give at least a 7-to-1 risk-adjusted ROI, maybe 10-to-1 on a non-risk adjusted. But that's not always the case. There are cases where you might offer 3-to-1 and the client be like, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so that's just one stake in the sand, is the value. If the value is $1 billion, that raises, in all likelihood, your fee threshold. There are other stakes in the sand, and I think we should just work on fees because it's a longer discussion than we'll cover in 30 seconds. I think we should do it next week. That's my cliffhanger. That's my cliffhanger for the week. Is Suzanne, if that's okay, let's just have a quick conversation about how do you set your fees, especially for a fuzzy value. So hopefully that's okay. And sorry for the cliffhanger, everyone. But look, we've almost hit the bottom of the half hour. So Maria Isabel, thank you for spending some time with me. And John and Finley and Carol and Frank and Suzanne and all of the rest of you who are listening, thank you for spending 15 minutes with us. Don't go yet. A couple of quick notes, one of which at least is different. If you don't have Monday live in your calendar, Deidre, put it over here. Put in your calendar so you're always here with us, because we love to see you. And if you don't receive the article, oh no, first, before that, if you run a practice that's under $1 million and you have not been part of a solo practice accelerator, you should absolutely join. The one in 2024 was amazing. The dates are set for 2025. There aren't a lot of seats. So go to that link that Deidre put up and either register or get on the wait list if registration isn't open yet. And then the final thing is subscribe, of course. If you don't get our weekly articles, well, get our weekly articles. Be part of the fun. And that's it. Thank you for being here. Have a fabulous week. Thank you for asking great questions. And remember, consulting is not about you. It's not about us. It's about them. It's about your clients. It's about your prospects. So give them value and give them kindness. And we will see you next week.
Ciao. Thank you.